Growing up in a Catholic church with a Catholic belief, my journey starts also that I was baptized Catholic and I was kind of grown up in the Catholic church. I wasn't obliged to go to church, but there was an expectation. And let's say I love to go to church in Christmas times or for Easter time. But over time, I felt really lost. Every time I was in church, I was feeling there's something missing. It was more a funeral for me than a love celebration. And I also didn't understand what the pastor was teaching. And so there were many, many stories where I could not relate to. I have the blessing to be born in a musical family. And my mom, she was telling me and my sister, our belief is love. And every Christmas, we were really celebrating in harmony with lots of music. And we were happy about the birth of Jesus. So I could really relate to Jesus. I was born with him. And my dad was growing up in a Catholic church with a Catholic belief. And he's a very, very humble man and very empathic, a lot with angels. But my journey starts also that I was baptized Catholic and I was kind of grown up in the Catholic church. I wasn't obliged to go to church, but there was an expectation. And let's say I love to go to church in Christmas times or for Easter time. But over time, I felt really lost. Every time I was in church, I was feeling there's something missing. It was more a funeral for me than a love celebration. And I also didn't understand what the pastor was teaching. And so there were many, many stories where I could not relate to. But every time I was home and was talking to my mom and to my parents, I could still find Christianity as a spiritual guidance in my life. So I grew up and I was all about loving to sing. And I was really taking any cable and anything that I find to sing and to amplify that. And it was really given to me in the DNA. And even in church, I wanted to sing. In choirs, I wanted to sing. And usually I was too much. So I had so much energy and I had so much joy. But I figured out slowly that I need to fit in the society and I need to suppress so that I can fit into the box. So years went over, passed, and I started to suppress more my emotions and who I am. I started to please people because I thought that's how we are pleasing God. I didn't understand what means manipulation. I didn't understand anything about Holy Spirit and who is God. I only understand we are here to learn how to love and how to love each other. And so I tried to escape the church. And I still was close to Jesus and the love of Christ. And then by the age of 14, I was in a holiday with my father and I was enjoying the sunset. And there I was meditating, I was with the sun, and suddenly a beautiful kind of energy with colors opened up, and I was totally gone, like out of time and space, and fascinated. And then I was asking, who is this? What is that? And so I got the answer, I'm Michael. I'm Angel Michael.
So there's a type of angelic encounter
experience. That was really...
You've never had anything like this until this point?
No.
Okay, wow.
And I saw time to time colors around people. It was random. But this moment with that angel was insane, and I will never forget it. It was really following me. And then I suddenly found books all about Archangel Michael, and he followed me in different ways. So I was reading, and I was more interested in spirituality. And so learning more about, energy actually, but not really understanding how to integrate it and how to live it. And so I was on my way to figure out things. And then by the age of 16, I already had a lot of acne, already had a lot of sicknesses, and very, very much difficulty to breathe. I was snoring in a very extreme way, which was impacting me emotionally and psychologically, because I was very ashamed. I didn't want to sleep with other friends when you have some excursions and things. So I was really, really emotionally gathering a lot of things, and also psychologically, like not knowing who I am and what I'm doing. And so I was over empathic, I was over energetic, like HDH.
So when you say over empathic, what do you mean? Like sensing?
Like oversensitive.
Yes, got it.
I took everything personal. I was feeling people intensely. I didn't know how to deal with that.
And as you were sharing with me earlier, like you had Jesus there, but these things were like clouds blocking that relationship where you were people pleasing and all these things building up.
Yes. So we were talking on Christmas about forgiveness and love, but how to bring Jesus in life, how to bring that love of Christ between each other. So I had a lot, I gathered a lot of blamings, I gathered a lot of the fears, a lot of trauma also, and weight, emotional weight, and we were a lot in the head. Germany in general is the culture codes are really all about rationality, and so I wanted to break through all of that, and my blessing was art. So I found a way to sing, to dance, to act. And the moment school was finished, I went to any kind of courses to do that, to balance myself. And I thought, okay, in that shape, in that frame, I'm allowed to sing, and I'm allowed to act out, and I'm allowed to dance out and to be myself. But I was always in that frame. Out of that frame, I didn't allow it. And I was afraid of being judged and not loved, not liked, and all of that stuff, because it was really important what people say. It was important to my father what people say. It was important to follow the rules. It was very important to be in the box. And for my mom, not really. She was usually breaking out of the box, but I saw her suffering. And so I was really seeing the disbalance from both of them in an extreme way and trying to balance that out. And so that's why I gathered the weight. And by the age of 16, I had a very deep, another moment actually with Holy Spirit. Today I understand it was Holy Spirit, because from one moment to the other, I told my parents, I need to create a musical theater to gather the funds for children in Africa. So it was more our capability sharing with their possibility. And I could not explain why, I could not explain how, I didn't know how to do that, but I was activating 120 people, volunteering for that project. And we were working on that for 1 year, and I was sitting in school and I was literally guided of what to write down, and my sister was helping me with that as well a lot, and my father was all the way the technician, and my mom said, okay, as far as you can handle the school, do what you have to do. And this trust was insane to me, and there I felt really the love of Christ very, very strong, because I was so sure of what has to be done, and my everyday life was running, but I was like a fire. Usually everyone else would be totally overwhelmed and stressed out, but this moment took me out of the everyday life, and literally the fire came in and I was really in. And I knew only every step and I trusted every step. And for 1 year, I was maybe sleeping 4 hours in average, and I didn't need more. I was working on it. And then we had the performances, and every performance was fully booked. And we had awesome time, and we built it up, that home for disabled children, and the communication between Africa and us was amazing. So that was a Holy Spirit experience by then that I didn't even know it happened that way. And so after that, I went to study.
And this is where we were talking about spiritual attacks or something.
Yes,
like that. Is this,
and
okay.
I came to the big city. I mean, it was a big city, and I needed to go away from family and to kind of find my way and find my life, and my joy of art, my joy of singing started to become a pressure. So
pressure.
Yes, the pressure started extremely.
This was a career for you. You're making a living doing this.
Yes, I'm changing my hobby, my joy, to work, to professionality, and I thought that's all the way. Like that's it. So I started to see the competition. I started to see the concurrence behaviors and minds. I started to see that I put so much pressure on myself to be enough and to belong. And I started to have more and more fears, even though I was a great student. And it was easy to me in some way because the talent was given. Psychologically, I would say I lost myself more and more. It wasn't based on love and joy. It was based on a construction.
Like comparing, analyzing, judging. You even mentioned that the fear was building up, there was panic.
Yeah. And whenever I had an audition or casting, the colleagues, everyone is trying to get the role, right? To get the job. So you don't want that the other is getting the job in a way. And all of that for me was an illusion. And there I was very open and too open, so that I got hit by jealousy. I got hit by others not wanting me to be successful. It was very heavy energy. And that was for me literally spiritual attacks in a way. I could not handle these energies. And so every time I went into playing a role, I still knew, for me that is playing.
When you say a role, this is like method acting?
Yes, it's a method acting. It's you learned how to do it, how to scan a personality that you are supposed to act. How should you hit the notes in a song? How should you fit in that template?
Understood,
yes. And I was still blessed by my teachers who still saw me as me, and they were just teaching me the skills in a way. But when it comes to the work and to really get into that niche, it was really proving yourself. And so I one day came to a rehearsal, and suddenly my voice was taken away. And that moment I had panic attacks. I started sweating. I was all the way so full of fear. And I didn't know anymore who I am. I didn't know anymore what am I doing here. I really lost the fruits. And so I stepped away from singing for about 1 year. And I had the backup of dancing. But the sicknesses came in. More sicknesses. Suddenly I could not walk. I had that ache in my back. And so there I understood, okay, God is taking away my voice. Why? And here comes in my life partner that I met by then. He was given to me to wake up, to literally wake up and to let go from those layers and weight of emotions and thoughts and trying to fit in a box, and to understand what is love and what is manipulation, and to not serve several different spirits coming from anywhere, but liberating from it and coming back to Holy Spirit. So we started to talk about many things in spirituality, and I was not really fully open to understand Jesus or Holy Spirit, because I had that Catholic background where I saw people are not loving each other. They talk about it, but they are living something else. And so I was attaching to that.
Attaching Jesus to that?
Yes, I was attaching to Jesus to that. I could not name anymore the word God. I could not name anymore the word Jesus, or maximum angels. With the angels, I was still on very much.
You had to uncouple from religion completely.
Yes.
To have a pure connection or something.
Yes.
It's very common. This is very common.
Yes. And so I was very alert to, if we want to talk about Bible, if we want to talk about Jesus, if we want to talk about Holy Spirit, I was kind of shifting away. And then I had that big moment with him, because he has the Malagasy African background and really free way of living music. And he asked me, sing free, like just sing free. And I was panicking again. And I was crying out, and I thought, no, I need to sing perfect. Give me a song that I can sing, and then I can do it perfectly. And that's the only thing I knew. But to liberate from that, he invited me to sing free. Like, who cares, actually, And so that was a supernatural breakthrough in a way that I felt a big heart opening and really big liberation and letting go and suddenly loving it. I really loved it. And by then I only sang free. I refused any other song. And I started to sing free and sing free. And he brought me back through God, using him, that I reconnect with my voice. And it took me time to love my voice again, because I was only blaming my voice, and I will never be perfect. I will never be enough. So he told me, it is nothing about that. You already have everything, and you are blessed by the talents that God gave you. And singing is for you to be in contact with him. And so that was the way I could accept. This is the connection, my connection to God. So that was another preparation, coming back to Christ and coming back to understand the power of forgiveness, the power of God's love that is unhuman even. And so I learned also what means trance, what means a very high feeling of being playful, like having that playfulness, and you are out of time and space, and you don't even you expand, I would say. You expand. And so he played an instrument, and I was relaxing and just wanting to sleep, actually. And suddenly I went out of my body unexpectedly, and I saw myself from outside, like literally seeing the body on that beanbag. And I saw myself and this, different realms. And that was the first time that I saw myself different.
Could say maybe body and soul, spirit, you saw a distinction.
Yes.
And you weren't consciously trying to leave your body, it just through singing, it just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And then I came back, and I was so blissful and so peaceful. And so my partner was asking me what happened. And so we were talking about this, and that was another liberation. And so as he is a coach, he helped me to get out from sicknesses. Yeah, I had big acne all on my skin. And it was because I was suppressing my soul and who I am. I didn't speak out the truth. I needed to realize, OMG, I am lying without knowing that I'm lying.
Is that because you're bending to people?
I was bending to people and was pleasing people to be loved and liked and to make them comfortable. I was forgetting myself, and I realized all of that. And it was a big time to forgive myself and to ask God to forgive me, because I didn't serve God's voice. I served what people expected me, what I thought that people expect me to say. So that was big time, and that I'm expressing that now openly is really deep gratitude that I'm through, and that I understand why it happened, and also that God took my voice away to listen to him and to help other people nowadays finding the voice back with him. And seeing through those different layers. And so I could solve all these sicknesses. They brought me back to myself and to take away those layers. And it was literally a fight. Time to time, it was a fight with some spirits that were using me or holding on to that. And I didn't understand it fully by then. So I needed strength to die again, and to die, and to die, and to die, and to die.
Die daily.
I really died daily. And then I had that darkness night for the soul, or how you call that in English, the
dark night of the soul, or that crisis, or that
break. And I was ready to die. I thought, okay, if I go now, it's okay.
Is this before, like, because I know there's this big trip coming up, you're going to share to Bali. Is this before you go to Bali?
Yes.
Is it in the lead up?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was still in the fear of loss.
Fear of loss.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that?
That I was holding on and identifying, and every time I lose something, I was afraid. Yeah. But actually God asked me to let go because I fall in His love. That was all about that. And this night, I was fully letting go of everything. Like, please, God, please take me to you. I really wanted to go. And it was so dark. And then suddenly that voice came. And I decided to say yes to life. Okay, I'm going on. And then a few years later, I had that moment. Actually, it was in the Corona time that I went to Bali. And that was really needed. And within 24 hours, I was out.
Out?
Out of the country, flying out to Bali.
Okay.
And I was landing unexpectedly in Gili Island, as Bali was closed because of Corona. So my plans changed, and I saw a vision that I will take a boat and I will be in a small island. And I didn't even know about Gili Islands. Then I was researching in Jakarta, in Indonesia. Okay, I can't fly to Bali. I fly now to Gili. That's still green. Like, okay, there's something green over there.
Because that means you can go into that country in the COVID time.
Yes. Plans changed. And so I was ready to travel just to get trust back in life and follow that intuitive life. Like every day, not needing to know the plan, and make God guide me. I didn't make any plans. And I always wished to do that. And then finally it came. And then I landed in that island completely at the end of nowhere. and I really enjoyed it, and I love the ocean. And one day I was at the sunset, and then I met that beautiful lady who is a very close friend to me nowadays. And she was so bright and so shining. And I was by then feeling lonely with myself, and I wanted to just be with myself and God at that trip, And then I met her. And we had amazing chats, amazing conversations, diving so deep. And she brought in that question, do you know who is Holy Spirit? And we talked about Jesus and everything, but by this question, I was shocked because I don't hear that word, that name the first time, but I could not explain it. I never reflected fully who is Holy Spirit. And then I had an excitement, but also I had an anger. Like, why in church I'm telling every time in the name of the Son, the Father, and Holy Spirit. And so I needed to get my homework. She told me, that's your homework.
So you were angry because you didn't know. Because you were like, I should have known this in church, but
yes.
I just didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was busy all these years to let go that layers of Catholicism. And I got an understanding of what the religion does, of what happens in Rome, of you know what happens in religion as a politic to brainwash people for being controllable and in fear. And I didn't get the love and the trust and the belief in me and God in the church. And in all those lessons with the church, I was just waiting for the art to make a cross on the candle or to sing some songs. That's where I felt the fruits are coming in. But outside of this, nothing happened. It was dead.
Oh. So here comes this lady you meet on an island who says to you, hey, so your homework is, what's the Holy Spirit?
Yes.
And what else happened on that trip? Because I know I did.
Yeah, I was reflecting, and I was in stillness and asking God, what is Holy Spirit? And then I got some flashbacks of those moments, like with that musical, with different moments where I could understand, I wasn't in my brain, I was really guided by Holy Spirit. I didn't even need to know what I need to do. I was just guided in doing it. And that must be Holy Spirit. So there is something in me already experiencing it, but I want to know closer. And then I told her that, and okay, tell me more. And I was by then still very alert to when she mentioned Jesus or when she mentioned the Bible. Like, please let me run away from the Bible. I don't want to hear nothing about that. And I told her, from where do you know that it's really true what's written? It's so many years back. How do you know that Jesus, it's really the words that Jesus said? All of those questions coming in, of course. And I needed to be very alert and sensitive to protect myself from more manipulations that I was living. And so I felt her love, and I felt she's inviting me, she's not pushing, but I was mindful. I was just taking my time, and she let me be. And that's where she got me, you know? And then she shared also, like, you know, by then I also questioned that. And you know, the love of Christ has nothing to do with the religion. Okay, let's put that also away from each other, because with my life partner, it was more, he is coming from that Malagasy tradition where they are already living free from religion, at least his family. And I saw that more like he's in that tradition and in that blessing. But me, I come from that church background, and I needed to find a way for myself. So it was a blessing for me to have another person like her in my life, where I hear the love of Christ and Holy Spirit in a deeper understanding, and also spiritual conversations where I could, let's say, identify myself and find myself. And she gave me that unconditional love. She sees me as who God made. And so we went to church. She invited me to that church, which is a gathering of human beings loving Jesus and gospel. And okay, gospel, I like that. I always loved gospel. So I'm ready to be open. Let's have a look at least. And then I went there with her, and I entered this church, and I saw also different nations of people, right? And they were having that amazing gospel atmosphere. And we haven't been inside maybe even for 5-10 minutes. I didn't have a feeling for time. But Jesus kicked in my heart. And I was crying like, I would say like never before.
Wow.
I could let go so much. Yeah. I felt the forgiveness. I felt the love, the unconditional love, and also what Hanka, my good friend, tried to explain me, and also my man. And I could put it together slowly because he was incredible, loving and loving and loving. And I was rejecting so much love. And I could see so many other people doing the same and just seeking for answers. And then I understood, okay, now God is taking away my filters and layers and judgments and brainwashing and all of these things in even a deeper way. And I was really needing that space only with him. And I felt I'm falling, and I was whole. And only that was needed. I didn't listen anymore what's happening in the church much. I was just needing this experience.
Beautiful. And in this trip, you also got baptized.
Yeah, then we went to the north of Bali. We were diving, and then I said, we go to the ocean now. And my dear friend was ready to witness my decision and my baptism. And I was diving in that ocean, and I was feeling Holy Spirit. And she was saying, oh my God, it's already done. There's not much to do, And we were laughing, and I was really liberating and playing with the water. And because me and the ocean, that's where I feel God so present. And of course, we are coming from there, from the water, and I feel so lively. And my nature is lively. And I was all about bringing the fruits everywhere, but who can bear it? Who can receive it? Who can go with me? And in the Black Gospel, I found
this vibrancy.
Siblings
yes.
who were like, yeah. This like breakthrough and rise the joy. And also with the Africans, that's why I was so magnetized by Africans, because they had that spirit of lots of energy, and let's dance and drum and sing, and that's where the connection happened. And that's where I could feel, oh, this energy, yeah, there I can be myself. And they were all about be yourself. They were not
this
in that religious box, and neither in Catholic, evangelic, they were in that freedom.
Yeah. Well, this is what I love about your story. It's about finding God for yourself.
Yes.
In a real way.
Yes.
To your personality, your unique spirit.
Yes.
In a way that's true for you.
Yes.
So fast forward to after Bali, after this, what's happening in your world now?
Yeah.
Where are you at? I know you're doing this voice activation, coaching with Jesus.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So of course everything was God was preparing me, and from that moment of losing my voice and taking it away to Him, I listened my inner silent voice, which for me was God. And then slowly He showed me the way that I want to use you to teach others what is the voice about. And so that was revealed. And nowadays, with the love of Christ and with Holy Spirit, I invite people and inspire people to feel Him through the voice, through singing, through voice activation, through that vibration that the voice is caressing within you, and how God can renew yourself all the time again, because that music that happens through our instrument is cleaning us, purifying us, amplifying us, and we can sing from the place of the heart, not from the place of thinking or hitting the note perfectly. We can find the love of God through the voice and the joy by singing. And it is basically also a technology behind that He has given. And so I was researching about that more and more. And I was really in conversation with Him a lot. And I know a lot will still come. And so nowadays I'm driving workshops and retreats and one-on-one sessions so that you find your voice signature and what voice God gave you, and you're gonna love your voice. And also learning how to use the voice in everyday life to bring truth on earth, and let God use your voice.